From the ancients all the way until today, creatives have always talked about the creative muse that whispers in their ear and gives them those insights, those inspirations of things to create. Their artistic flow comes straight from the divine, and it just moves through them as if they are the vehicle of this inspired process. Well, when you're trying to make a living at that, you need to systemize it. you need the divine to be on a schedule. You need them punching a clock, because you've got to get videos out on a consistent basis. And if you don't, well, your channel's gonna go flat. It's gonna flatline on you. So how do you do that? Coming up with ideas to talk about is the critical element once you have determined what your genre is going to be, and how you want to approach, and kind of what your brand is like. Once you get past all that stuff and you've got that concept in your head, coming up with ideas for your individual videos is really, really important. Now, in the very beginning, before we get too deep into the inspiration for individual videos, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about a process that you should go through on day one. When you have made the decision that you want to become a creator, you need to get out a blank sheet of paper, maybe a lined sheet of paper, and you need to write down as many topics that you can think of within that genre. And then I want you to think of 2 different framings of that topic in terms of what kind of angle are you going to take, what opinion are you going to express, what side of the issue are you going to take, what twist are you going to put on this that's going to make it unique to you. So think of at least 2, and you should be able to think of even more than that, but 2 is just the minimum. So if you can get to at least a minimum of 20 different topics, with at least 40 different twists and turns on that, you've got a lot of things to start with right from the very beginning. So you're not starting from zero. So you have to go through this practice. If you don't go through this practice now in the beginning, you're going to come back to it. I guarantee it, because you're going to say, I'm running out of ideas. What am I going to do? And you're going to have to do some brainstorming. Another brainstorming process is, once you have these 20 topics down, is take one of those topics and write it in the center of a new sheet of paper, a clean one, and put a circle around it. And I want you to do word association with that word, whatever that word is. You know, so if that word is, I don't know, let's do something simple. Cow, well, maybe your next word you're thinking of is milk. Maybe you think steak. Maybe you think moo. Maybe you think farm. And then from each one of those words, you can come up with new words as well. So now from farm, I'm going to go with farmer, tractor. You know what I mean? You can see how you can associate from each one of these things other related topics that will help you in your creative process as you're putting together a video. By thinking through how this is all going to come together, you'll see it. Once you have filled up that page with words that are all either 1 or 2 or 3 generations removed from the very first word that you started with, you will start to see the relationship of how these concepts flow together. And as these concepts flow together, you will be able to see a pattern that you can use in your video that will make sense. So that practice is just a starting place. So once you've gotten that out of the way, you should have dozens and dozens and dozens of topics to talk about. And that'll just get you started. And if you're making videos like me, that'll get you through like a month. So now what are you going to do? Well, you're going to have to be aware of the times when your brain, your active conscious brain, goes into neutral. And there are times when this happens, like when you drive in a car, you're not really thinking very much, you're just sort of driving a car, you know, you might be listening to music. But if you turn off the music and you're just in that car quietly driving for say 15 or 20 minutes, you're going to be surprised at how much ideation starts to occur. Your subconscious mind is going to suddenly bubble up to the top, and it's going to start giving you ideas. And when those ideas come to you, you're going to need to record them immediately. I put them on the Notes app in my phone. I do not evaluate the idea when it comes to me. Like if I just have a thought and it comes to me, I will immediately pick up my phone and open the Notes app and just record that. Just hit the record button and say, whatever that idea is, just put it in there and just leave it as a whole sheet. I'm not going to put tons of them on the same sheet. I just want that one for one sheet. And if I get another idea 5 minutes later, I'm going to open it up and create a whole new note for that one idea. And I do that all the time. I do that all the time. So Driving is obviously a great time to do it, but going for walks out here in nature is the best time. It is without question. If I have no agenda, just me and the dogs, we're just out here walking in the woods, enjoying the peace and quiet, except for the airplanes, enjoying the sounds of the birds and the stream and all the beauty of nature and just breathing it all in. Oh man, the ideas just flow. They just flow. It's incredible. It's like the muse is screaming in my ear all the time. Got lots and lots of ideas from that. Other times that are really valuable are first thing in the morning when you wake up. If you just lay in bed, plan your wake up time slightly earlier than when you actually need to go, so you don't need to jump out of bed and go into action right away. Just take that, say 10 minutes and just relax. Just laying there in that half awake, half asleep state, and allow your mind to just go silent. And when it does, again, that subconscious mind is going to bubble up and it's going to start speaking to you. It's going to start saying, hey, here's a good idea, and grab your app and start recording them, one after the other after the other. Same thing happens right before you go to bed. It's the end of the day, you're tired, you're laying down, you're going to doze for a few minutes before you sleep, and have that phone right close by so you can record that. If you don't like having your phone close by, just have a notepad. Just write it down. The important thing with recording these ideas is not to evaluate them, okay? Because you're going to say, oh, that's a dumb idea. That's stupid. It's never going to work. But you'll be surprised at where those ideas lead you, because again, you go into association with those ideas and you can develop them into something different. So when it comes time to actually pull these ideas into maturity, you need to think of them like fine wine or planting a seed that it needs to mature, it needs to grow before it becomes fully formed. And when I go back and go through my ideas, I will pick the one that I think appeals to me the most right away. So I may have 10 or 15 of them on my notes page, and I'll pick the one or two that I think is going to work. And I will immediately start associating concepts with whatever that initial concept was. Like, what's the first ideas that come to my head? And then I'll just start recording, like dictating into the Notes app, some narrative that I think I could use in a video. And I'll just free speak for a few minutes. And I'll get 5 or 6 paragraphs down. And then I'll go back and evaluate that. And then I'll adjust it, adapt it, and see where that takes me from there. Like, are there any other ways of looking at this particular subject other than the one that I have originally written? And if there is, let me explore that. I'll record more text. Anyway, my point is that this process is organic, and it is by far the best way to come up with ideas. Now, I know that a lot of the YouTube gurus will say, you need to go onto the YouTube and look at the other channels in your niche, your competitors, and you need to steal some concept or idea that they have. Like, that's the easiest and the best way for you to come up with ideas. And if everyone's doing that and only a few people are succeeding, guess what? That's not the best way to get ideas. That's the way everyone's trying to get ideas. Like in the stock market, if everybody's buying a particular stock, someone like Warren Buffett, he's not buying that stock necessarily. He's got his own agenda. He's got his own plan. He knows what his values are and what he's going to go with. And he does that instead. He does not follow the market. Do not follow a lot of these YouTube gurus. They are going to be repeating what another guru said because they're following the advice that that guru gave. So now it just becomes like the snake eating its tail. You know what I mean? It's just so much fluff that they're throwing out there and disguising it as if it is meaningful content for you to use to build your channel. And it's not. It's just fluff. It's just filler. It's just a way for them to deliver ads to you. I am telling you a real organic way for you to develop some ideas. Now, if all else fails, I am just cold, stone, can't come up with nothing. I am just flatlining, dead, with my creativity. And this doesn't happen very often. But when it does, I do have a backup plan. Because you got to have a plan B just in case, because you got to keep a schedule. And like I said, sometimes the muse, they're not punching the clock, they're on vacation, whatever. They're not whispering in your ear, they're not giving you that that inspiration. Like the muse is now to come to me as a bee, and it looks like it's flying around me. Anyway, so I do have a mechanical muse that I will use from time to time, and I referred to it in my last video, and it's Poppy AI, and you can find it at Get Poppy AI, and I think I might have an affiliate link, and I'll put that in the description. I don't know if YouTube will let me get away with that right now because I'm not monetized on this channel yet, but I'll give it a shot. But regardless of whether I get paid for it or not, it doesn't matter. Get Poppy AI is a really unique tool. I'm going to describe it to you, and then I'm going to try to use the Loom on my computer to give you a outline of how this works. One of my clients asked me recently if I would get on the phone with him and explain Poppy AI so that he could understand how to use it. So I'm going to do it here so that you guys can see it. So in this moment, God willing, and the technology gods smile on me, I'm going to move back to my house and do a voiceover and put the Loom on the screen. Let's see how it goes. All right, you guys, welcome to my humble abode. I'm going to show you Get Poppy AI and how I use it for ideation. So what you're looking at here on your screen right now is one of my active whiteboards that I use with Poppy AI. And I'm going to blow it up a little bit so you can understand just a little bit more about what's happening here, and then I'm going to go into a brand new one so you can see what you're going to be confronted with when you first start it. I'll make it even bigger here so you can really see it. So I'm going to start here in the middle. So this here is the Poppy chat, and down here you'll see I'm using Claude 4 Sonnet. You can see if I open it up, you've got all kinds of different options. I can use ChatGPT, I can use Nano Banana, and there are more models available if you want to. There's old versions of ChatGPT. You can use Grok if you feel so inspired. But it's a pretty well-rounded, robust program in terms of an AI. Up here in the top, I have this voice recording of what my channel is about. So basically, I go over here and there's a record button I can click on, and I can tell basically the AI exactly what I want my channel to be about, who my audience is, what my goals are, etc. Down here at the bottom, we've got this content framework, and you'll see here that I've got this guy Callaway, who is got some videos about addictive storytelling and storytelling masterclass. So that tells the AI the framework that I want to use, and you can see I also have put in here what makes good comedy, because I like comedy in my videos, and they all input into the AI. So here, I'm going to get this guy out of the way. I have a bunch of my old videos. So I'm just using my own content for this particular thing. I'll go up here and I'll hit New Conversation on the AI, and I will connect my videos here to the AI, and then I can just ask it anything. So for example, I can say, you know, based on the content, give me 10 topics that I could make a video about. And I even misspelled could, but I think it'll still understand me. Let's just give it a try. Okay, so he's thinking. Just takes usually a few seconds. And here, I'm going to get tons of topics here. So I got why just be yourself, how to build confidence without becoming arrogant, what women really want versus what they say they want. So you can get an idea. So here is a very easy way to do ideation. Now, the way it's set up, and I've never used this function myself, but I'm just going to go here, and it says create script. So I'm just going to click on that button. And here it says create script for why just be yourself is terrible dating advice for men. Use the framework connected and speaking style for the description for the script available. So it automatically fills in the prompt for you. I can click the little execute button down here at the bottom, and it's going to just take that information and it's going to produce a script based on the information that I provided it. The content that I put in there, as well as the framework that I created for the video or for my channel. And you can even change this framework for each video by just going back up here and re-recording that voice prompt that tells it what you're trying to accomplish with this particular video or whatever it is you're trying to do. And you can even put in more inputs. So for example, I'm going to scroll down here just really quick. I'm going to show you, like, I have a sponsorship with Anson Belts, and I have a sponsorship with Marnie the Wing Girl, and I have a sponsorship with Tej Hanley, Crema Social, and then here is an incomplete rough draft that I had made of a script that I had recorded in my Notes app. I just copied and pasted that here, and I can prompt that into the AI as well and tell it to use this information as the basis for a script. Anyway, my point is that with all this, you can see that it's extremely functional in terms of generating ideas for you. Because even, like, I don't take these whole scripts and actually just use them. I'm not big on using scripts, but I love the idea that I can read through this script and I can find main points. Like, most of the time, what I'll do is, rather than having it give me the whole script, I'll say, convert this into a bullet point. I think I clicked on something that opened up a pop-up and I got cut off from you guys. But anyway, what I was able to do is type in here a prompt telling it that I wanted it to create a bullet point version of the script. Up here, say convert this into a bullet point script, and it took that script and it just turned it into bullet points. I prefer working with scripts in this way. That way I can fill in the content based on the topics that it's giving me, and it gives it a very authentic feel. Now, just really quick before we go, I'm going to show you what a brand new board looks like. So I just opened up this one here, this Coral Wildcat, about 15 minutes ago. So when you first log in initially, this is what you're going to be confronted with. And I'm just going to give you a quick tour. So you can see it tells you up here, start here, press record. It gives you instructions on what to do. There's a little video tutorial on what to do down here. And then here it's already got you filled in with the storytelling framework down here. And then it tells you just to paste content that you want to use here. Now you can use all kinds of different content. So you can create text, you can bring in websites, you can do a mind map. There's all kinds of ways that you can do it, even just voice recording, which to me is really the simplest way to do it. Anyway, I hope this has been valuable to you guys. I hope that this is meaningful. This is not my first choice when it goes to ideation, but it is very, very handy. It's also very handy for doing some of the administrative work of creating videos. For example, I'm going to go back to my board here. What I asked it to do, oh, that's not the one I wanted. Darn it, I'm not paying attention here. I think maybe that was it, wasn't it? Nope. Oh, here. So what I wanted to do with this is I just wanted to get a recommendations on the thumbnail. I wanted to get recommendations for the title. And it gives me all kinds of things. And then I can even say, can you give me a description? And it'll do exactly that. Anyway, there's lots and lots of ways to use Poppy AI in streamlining your process, and ideation is just one of those ways. I strongly suggest you get the tool. I'm going to see if I can refer you and earn $40. I don't know if I can or not, given that I'm not monetized on this channel, but we will give it a shot. Anyway, back to the woods. I'm back in the woods. I'm just going to go with the assumption that that whole process worked well, and you guys are now well versed in Poppy AI and how you can use it for ideation, how you can take the content of people in your niche and even other content. You can grab stuff from Reddit, you can grab stuff from media sources, you can really even from scientific studies, anything that you want. You can just pump it into Poppy AI and you can create a unique perspective on a story that perhaps some of your other competitors are using. It's a way of I don't want to say cheating, but it is a little bit of a cheat because you're going to use someone else's momentum to push your channel, and you can do it with a unique approach using Poppy AI. And since you're pulling data in or content in from many different places in order to create this new script, this new vision of what your video is going to be about, it's 100% yours. So let me get back just for a moment when it comes to your ideation. When you feel pressure to create an idea, it's really hard to find it. It's like anything else in life. If you feel like you're being forced to do it or you're being pressed into it, it's very, very hard. Now, if you are trying to be consistent, which obviously you need to be consistent if you're going to have any success on YouTube, then obviously you need to meet a schedule. And meeting a schedule in and of itself implies some level of pressure, or you need to be a little bit stressed out trying to get to that or meet that obligation. I would recommend that you change your frame of mind when it comes to this. And don't think about something that you have to do. Think about something that you get to do. And if you just change that one word from have to get to, you are going to experience your YouTube journey completely differently. You're not doing this because someone's put a gun to your head. You're doing this because it is something that lives in you and you want to do it. So keep that energy uppermost in your mind all the time. Being one of the people who has the courage and the talent and the inspiration to hold up a camera and talk into it and try to have a positive impact on the world in some way, shape, or form is a gift. It's something that you uniquely have. It's something that you uniquely are. And I would suggest that you see it as that and you approach it with gratitude and humility. And if you do that, I guarantee you it won't feel like you're pushing to meet your obligation, your schedule. The minute you start feeling like there's some external pressure on you to achieve something or do something, everything about it becomes less enjoyable. You know, I was walking the dogs out here this morning, and they have their rituals. You know, Debu, God bless him, he likes to go to the neighbor's yard and he just does barrel rolls, like for 2 or 3 minutes. Like he just rolls, and he's wearing a leash. So the leash is all wrapped around him. It just is such a pain in the ass. It's cute, and he loves it. He loves it. Anyway, this morning, I know that today the temperature is going to be like almost 100 degrees. It is May, like 17th or 18th, I don't know. It is May, and it's going to be 100 degrees here. And I was in a hurry. I wanted to get down here, get these videos shot today, and get back home before it gets too hot, because the dogs really don't like the heat very much. And it gets pretty miserable out here in the direct sunlight. That's why I'm in the shade today, because it's nice and cool down here. But up on where my house is on the hill, it's like, 85, 90 degrees already. I mean, it's getting hot. But anyway, my point is I was in a rush to get down here and to get this thing done. And I was on a schedule and I was pushing. And I thought, I'm being an asshole here. I'm not letting Debu get all of his barrel rolls out, and, everybody wants to sniff every single stick between our house and this house where I'm going. They want to it's their adventure out into the world. It's their experience. And I'm cutting it short because I'm in a hurry, and it made the experience less enjoyable for all of us. Anyway, my point overall here is make the experience enjoyable. Take the stress out. You're doing this because you want to. You're doing this because you love it. You're doing this because you get to, not because you have to. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please like and subscribe. If you know someone who's on this journey, please share it with them. Maybe it will help them with their ideation and getting their thoughts together on how to approach this journey. Until next time, never give up. You can't lose if you don't quit. The clock never runs out, and if you stay with it long enough, you're gonna win.